hello everyone, my name is John Michael Bushman and welcome back to Master Duel. This will be the second of, comeback videos that I'll be doing for a long while until Konami decides to fix this format or until Tenpai Dragon comes out. In which case, I will be back into the full swing of things once again. Because good god, the decks that I've been playing for, I think, well over a year now are slowly but surely being power crept out of the format. Solely due to the power of Snake Eyes, like literally dominating the entire game. Hell, even in paper, people are starting to like get freaking sick of it already because of how insanely good it is and how recursive and consistent the deck is and has become over the years. So I'm here with a reiteration of Rescue Ace, a deck that I honestly still personally love using because airlifter because the entire creature package, like, they all work together really well. And my ratios, I mean, I still love these ratios. Having 3 preventer is still doing me wonders, surprisingly, because it's not exactly a brick, because you can have a lot of, you can do your like link lines and then you still have enough material in order to make preventer anyway. Although the one big downside of this deck is it can get bricky, and this is why Rescue Ace is more often than not splashed with the Snake Eyes engine. Just a small part of it, like a couple of Bell Stars, and even the Snake Eyes. What is that spell? The one that summons from the deck, or rather summons a level 1 from the deck. So those are the only 2 cards usually that they add. Sometimes they even add Wanted in it. If they want to go even harder with Snake Eyes, but by that point the Snake Eyes part of the deck will take over, and thus shoving Rescue Ace down to the side. So like when I first played with this deck, I had two Bell Stars and 3 of the Snake Eye spells that summoned from the deck, so that was honestly more than enough. But here now with the current iteration where I just play pure, it's still really decent. Definitely the small Bellstar package that I did have is wholly a lot more consistent, but I wanted to keep it pure because this deck still stands by itself really well. But I can definitely feel the power creep, like literally slowly climbing behind it and then stabbing it in the back, eventually putting it into a retirement home somewhere. Until of course, Konami decides to revive the archetype and then reduce the entire thing. The only change, like the only major change that happened to this deck recently was following the paper ban list, limiting Airlifter to 2, so it will no longer be as consistent, although the 1 slot that you lose is usually more for reinforcement of the army anyway, since the 2 warriors in this deck, they do flip-flop around the ratios depending on the deck, especially if you have the Beelstar engine. Sometimes you actually don't need Impulse, but I honestly really like this card because this is also Ash Blossom bait, especially if you react to whatever onboard stuff your opponent does. Or hell, if not Ash Blossom, then even hell, Called by the Graves. That will bait that out, and that will be one less Called by the Grave your opponent could use for future turns. But otherwise, yeah, I can definitely feel this deck starting to struggle at this point. And of course, I mean, why would you not have Typhon? I have had games where it won me because Typhon just removed a creature when I needed it to. I once beat a Zark, or rather a Pendulum player that summoned Zark out, and then I just bounced it back and somehow survived for at least 2 more turns. I still lost, unfortunately, because pendulums are pendulums. But here we are. We're gonna play with Rescue Ace, probably for the last time in recording, because once Tenpai Dragon comes out, I will literally scrap the 2 decks and just focus on Tenpai Dragon from then on out. So without further ado, let's kick off Fire Safety Month one last time. Okay, I'm going first at the very least, so let's see what my opponent has for us here. We do have stuff that can and will bait interaction of my opponent. 38, 39, 40, 41, 42 cards as well. My triple tactics, my thrust package has become significantly larger since the last time I did so. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna see if we can bait out that Ash Blossom in their hand because I just won. Again, in the immortal words of Hardleg Joe, sometimes you win and sometimes your opponent loses. Let's move on to the next duel. It still boggles my mind that you can have a literal torch as a pet. I don't know why you could have a torch as a pet, but here we are in the year of our Lord 2024. Somebody has a torch as a pet. Again, sometimes you win and sometimes your opponent loses. Good God, after the loss streak that I suffered over the last 2 days, whether it be in the Xyz Cup or even here on the regular rank ladder, god damn it, I needed wins like this. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, I'm going first and hopefully I'll have an actual duel this time because I also had another duel just before this one, and the opponent also conceded somehow. I don't know why, but that is our third duel. That was my third duel in a row today where my opponent just instantly conceded. So let's see. 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so we're gonna see. I could just choose to not normal summon here. And I'll just get another Turbulence. But I don't think our link lines are that open, sadly. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get Hydrant here. We're gonna get rid of Turbulence. And then, let's see if that baits something out of my opponent. No, it does not. Unfortunate. So we have not normal summoned. So we can choose to actually not normal summon this turn at all. Alright, good. That is indeed something. We have not normal summoned at the very least. So we do have at least access to Extinguish, surprisingly. And then we have Impulse as a hand trap for later. Now that I think about it. This at the very least, gives us a hidden way to interact with our opponent here. So actually, rather than, just going for a link line, I am actually not going to do so. Because the reason why I like Impulse so much is it's a hand trap, essentially. So, okay, my opponent, I did not realize that Saranir's summon effect is a quick effect. Oh, right, because it says right here, this is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. Great. Alright, and I do indeed control a monster, but it can be attacked because I don't have any other Rescue Ace monsters on field. Setting 1, okay, sure. What else are you going to do with that opponent? We shall see. Unless my opponent does something else here. Let's see. Let's do that again, boy. Oh no, he angry. Let's see what Pearly says here. Oh, riveting off. I guess this is Lubellion. That's usually what it means. If a bestial is being tributed away, Lubellion is like very close behind. Okay. Yep, Saronir being Saronir. I will actually Ash Blossom that. I'm not sure if it's the right move, but with their deck being a little thicker than usual, I'm going to, go with my gut here and say I should probably Ash Blossom that because they set their card and they only have 2 cards in hand, so they're probably looking for a shuffle here. Okay, yep, they're gonna draw 2 cards, and I think they were banking on that happening as bait so that they're gonna be able to draw 2 cards here. Alright, cool. So they'll still be able to quote-unquote draw a card. The Saronir only there, I believe it foolishes. Yeah, sends a bestial. Yeah, it foolishes a card they control, and then Dragon. Okay, why would you have that in here, sir? Do you actually have Dragon Maids? Okay, you activated that, and now I can activate this guy. Okay. Impulse. Let's see if the 2 cards you've drawn will help here at all. I mean, it's not exactly a 60-card deck you have. Alright, you did manage to draw the Ash Blossom, so that is cool. Unfortunately, the card that I have in here, Extinguish, I think I have to turn on priority here, or at least high priority, but I'm not quite sure what to call that, but basically turning on response mode in order to do the thing. I have no cards in hand, my opponent barely has any. Okay, so he's setting Branded Regain. Sure, that is completely fine. Excuse me. Uh, Before end of main phase, yeah, I will destroy Lebellion now. I don't think there's any other reason for me not to. Unless, of course, he has another monster in hand, in which case he will be able to proceed further. But this is during main phase 1, so he will still have a chance to do a thing. But no, he is dry, my friends. And we're going to see now if the card here, his face down, is an interaction piece. We're gonna find out soon enough. But first things first, we're gonna get Hydrant. Oh, okay, it just passes through. Alright, did not expect to get that far. Alright, we're gonna get Preventer. We're gonna go for our link line here, or our link lines here. So we will use Preventer. We will actually banish. This can't be. I did not realize that Turbulence doesn't have a cannot be normal summoned or set and must be special summoned. Okay, I did not think he actually had that. He didn't have that restriction rather. So I can go through our link line and summon Turbulence no matter what. So that's cool. Alright, let's see if it's interaction. Sure. You're going to special summon a Bestial. I'm assuming Saronir. Yeah. Excuse me. Targeting Saronir. Sure. That is completely fine in my book. We are going to. He is smart to put that like not either in the center or like in the leftmost or rightmost columns, because I would have gobbled it up with Anima like super quickly. Right. Then we're gonna do this. And just in case the card in his hand is an Ash Blossom, is a Maxi, we're not going to proceed too far after this. But first, we're gonna get SP Little Knight, and we will banish that face down. Forcing the action out of him, and then we're going to prevent any more shenanigans by chain blocking here. Alright, that's good. We will summon Turbulence in attack position. Let's see if my opponent thinks highly of that. Okay, he does not. And freaking Magic Cylinder. Oh my god. Okay, so we'll banish Emergency, and we will recycle Extinguish. We're gonna put it in the middle because we can. And then we cannot attack directly because we use SP Little Knight's banish effect this turn. We'll just get in for our measly 500 points of damage. I don't care if he triggers his effect, unfortunately, because I would rather, you know, interact with that, but we don't exactly have a lot of resources at the moment. So we will just end our turn by normal summoning Hydrant, or I believe we should just activate Turbulence first and then see if my opponent thinks something about that. Okay, it's sent to the graveyard. I don't know if that'll trigger, actually. I don't think it does. I think it's just set up for later. Alright, cool. We're gonna activate Turbulence first before we normal summon our Hydrant. So we're gonna put it here. We're gonna put our important stuff, like where we know where we're not going to get any disruption whatsoever from Infinite Impermanence. So we're gonna get all of those, okay? And then from left to right, so we will literally keep them right exactly where they are. Right, and then we will normal summon our Hydrant. And then after that, honestly, your go, opponent. I am not going to do anything else here. I will literally just try and disrupt you however I can, because that is what my specific build is good for. Basically ever since like their release, I've been treating Rescue Ace more as a control deck rather than a wombo combo deck. That is not Gucci at all, opponent. How dare you? How dare you, opponent? How dare you do that? Well, we can do a couple of things. First things first, while Hydrant is out there, we're going to activate Alert, and then we're going to activate... what else can we activate here? We don't have anything else that is banished, sadly. I don't want to have Baldrake over there, so I believe this is fine. Add to hand, I'm going to add Impulse. There we go. I would have saved SP Little Knight and the ambulance there, but nah. I'm going to lure them to a false sense of security here and see what else they do. Just going to end phase. Okay, cool, cool, cool. We're going to activate this now. Okay. Then we're going to get our hydrant back. And then we're going to do more shebanginans. But we're gonna see first if my opponent has something for us here. Alright, cool. Do you have something for this opponent? Who are you going to summon, by the way? Okay, yep. I believe this is the guy that, yeah, tribute one other light or dark, special target one of those, and then, okay, sure. I've actually been having games lately where I don't summon from the extra deck at all. So that's something at the very least. End the turn, sure. So he's definitely baiting me into making this guy trigger, but I am not going to give him satisfaction, unfortunately. So here's what we're gonna do upon it. We're first going to activate Hydrant, and then we're going to get Airlifter. I'm going to go for the link line here. First. Then there we go, Airlifter, trigger, there we go. And then, do you have a response for this opponent? Baldrake only triggers if and only if I summon an extra deck monster or a ritual monster, for that matter. Okay, getting Saronir onto the field, that is fine. I am not perturbed by that in the slightest. Sure, opponent, you do have 2 level 6s, and that is honestly very easy for me to get through, so there is that. Rescue Ace HQ, that is fine. I'm not going to activate anything else for the time being because I'm trying to bait my opponent to activating a spell trap, or rather an effect that will allow me to do more shenanigans. I will return the 2 big ones back in... No. I will return Impulse instead because I love that guy. He's basically a hand trap for this entire archetype, and that's why I like it so much. Okay, we drew into an Ash Blast. That is something, but not exactly everything that we're looking for. So first, we're going to use Emergency! We will get that Turbulence back. There we go. We're not going to attack this turn. We're going to tribute away the Airlifter. They have an Ash Blast. That is cool, right? So we're going to use Rescue Ace HQ. There we go. And then we're going to... oh, right. I can activate this effect first. My choice if tied. And guess what? I'm going to negate your Baldrake. There we go. Oh, would you look at that? You have somebody who is in the link column. What do you know? I will now proceed to consume your Baldrake, good sir. Thank you very much. And I think it will still trigger if I send it to the graveyard by link summoning. So we're gonna see. I believe it still will. But at least it's something that is out of the way. There we go. So we have Hita. I believe it will still trigger Saronir. But at least it's something that I know for the future to avoid doing. Okay, yeah, it still does trigger, but I do it on Ash Blossom upon it. I'm not gonna let you off that easy, unfortunately. So that happened. Saronir, yep. So a monster effect triggered, and would ya look at that! Triple Tactics Thrust! And we're gonna get Talent, yeah. No, god damn it, why did I send it to the field? Oh well, I can activate this turn anyway. Or rather, I could have, but I misclicked. But I don't think it will matter because I will just go through the entire link line here. Oh wait, no, it will matter because I will not have enough space to do all of the other stuff that that Turbulence can do, right? There we go. So we'll just do our meager link lines, and we'll just maintain our stance as the control deck here. Unfortunate that I misclicked there, but I think we can still somewhat recover. So we're just going to get... Actually, we're just going to get Hydrant here. There we go. And then, yeah, he's negated anyway, so I think we're in the clear. We're going to use Turbulence's ability. We literally just need... He wasn't dead yet, but he already knew what he was going to be in for. Ooh, boy. So that's what happens when you, like, stomp bestials down on the ground. yeah. Good Pearly, good Pearly. Clap, 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 clap. Look at him. I really want a plushie of Pearly. But let's just move on to the next duel. Been winning die rolls lately. That's freaking scary. Well, we do have reinforcement of the army to hopefully try and push past this, but we do have emergency, which is a card that I honestly think Konami will ban next if they're going to follow their paper ban list. And I do not like that direction at all. If they do indeed do that, then that means Snake Eyes can still continue to run rampant, in spite of it being a total problem right now. Granted, two other decks are keeping it in check. Labyrinth, I believe, is still like high in the metagame share right now, and Cashtera is still essentially at full power because Arise Heart is still legal somehow, and that shuts down a lot of graveyard-based decks all by itself. So there are ways to combat it. I mean, I could just build Kashtira and build it as an anti-meta deck, but I'm not going to do that. I found the Kashtira playstyle to ultimately be boring. Even if I did splash it with Runic, so that I can just keep banishing stuff my opponent controls. But ultimately, no. I'm not going to go down the Kashtira route. But here, we gotta win. I don't know what deck my opponent is on, so we're just gonna go on to the next one. Again, I won the die roll, but this is already very scary for me. Okay, we don't have starters, so I'm just going to hope to the gods that my opponent takes this bait. So we're gonna normal summon Impulse. Do you have a response? Do you Maxi? I'm pretty sure you want to. Come on, opponent. Yeah! Maxi! Yeah! There you go. There you go. Good opponent. Good opponent. Alright. Wasting a Maxi there. Ha! Joke's on you. I'm not summoning anything else. Oh my god. He's that paranoid. He knows. He knows. He freaking knows. Unfortunately for you, opponent, I can only trigger my shit if you do your stuff on board. So I'm going to activate Triple Tactics Talent now, and I will draw my two cards because unless you have an Ash Blossom in there, good. All right, cool. And now that gets me out of a lot of things. Now I will thrust. There we go. And then I will put down the Infinite Impermanence here. There we go. And since I already normal summoned, I cannot do anything else, so I will just use Emergency. And then I will summon the other Hydrant from the deck. And then I will tribute away the negated Impulse. There we go. Draws him one card, sure. I don't think it matters unless he has Nibiru in hand. Although it did stop on him for a second there, so he could potentially have interaction here. Likely Ghost Ogre, maybe? Who knows? Okay. That is scary, so that means we will not... We'll sadly be doing not much else in this turn cycle, but we do have Extinguish and an Infinite Impermanence. So he only knows one card, and the card that I just set down is an unknown. But I guess if he already knows to like shotgun his removal on Impulse, then he's familiar enough with Rescue Ace to know that the only cards a Rescue Ace player is going to set down are cards that that disrupt you. So he could very well surmise that this is one of the two trap cards in the deck. Unless of course I also use like the other trap card that is very rarely used, the one that adds attack power and makes the monster be unaffected by combat for the rest of the turn. Or I think unaffected by everything, if I remember correctly. But yeah, we're gonna bait the Ash Blossom if we ever drew one here. Impulse, yeah, go do your thing. And after that, we will have a Book of Moon on legs. There we go. And there we go. So we now have a Book of Moon, access to that. And I believe this, this basically sets the two girls down. Sure. Then once one of them is summoned up, I can try to disrupt them, if at all. Do I negate this? I honestly think I should. That will at least prevent him from going any further. I will negate him first. Okay, that was good enough for them. Alright. So the thing about Centurion, and I have faced off against Centurion and died The deck is they do have ways around disruption, but once basically shotgunning your removal on Primera or Trudea here, either one, if they are stopped prematurely and they don't have much else in their hand, then more often than not the duel is already done for them. Unfortunately, I don't have enough experience against Centurion to truly know the ins and outs of the deck, but I will definitely learn over time as I play this game in the background. So, let's move on to the next duel. Let's see what my opponent has for me this time. Rocking nearly the entire Blue Eyes ensemble here. Our hand is decent, but it could definitely be better. Let's bait stuff out by using Airlifter here, limited to 2, freshly limited to 2, by the way. Well, freshly by the time certain things happen, but we're gonna ignore that, and by ignore that, I mean we're gonna ignore that Ash Blossom because I have Crossout, and whenever I use Crossout, I always make it a point to banish my Royal Rare Alt Art Ash Blossom, because that's how you exert your dominance over your opponent. And it will make them think, whoa, do they have like 3 Royal Rare Ash Blossoms? Unfortunately, no. But it makes them think. It makes them quake in their boots quite significantly. So now that they don't have an Ash Blossom, which is honestly the card that I'm more scared of compared to Maxi, because Ash Blossom stops far more plays than Maxi ever will. Now we tribute off the Airlifter, and then we're going to get Preventer, and then I mean I could just go with Turbulence. Now that I think about it, because I think it's pretty obvious that they're lacking in terms of interaction. So yeah, I mean, I should just keep this. Sometimes I should just keep things simple, especially if I don't have access to other stuff. So I mean, I can just get Preventer out using Impulse anyway. So we're just gonna keep things simple here. And besides, we do at least have the field spell in hand already, so that's why I wasn't exactly too scared with whatever it is my opponent is trying to do. So we're gonna just keep our board simple here. Just summon like 1, 2... I believe that was 3 summons, so it was well under the Nibiru limit. So I'm not too worried about what's gonna happen next here. Okay, now we're gonna rearrange it like so, and then we will just simply pass back to our opponent. There you go. Unless you have something else for me here, opponent, I am more than willing to take whatever it is you're selling. Oh, I did not want to do that. There we go. Standby phase, do you have something? Yeah, I have something. I will use Max C on your standby phase. Normally it should be on the draw phase, where it's the smallest possible window in order to activate certain things, but sometimes, you know, do it in the standby phase to assert dominance, because why not? Let's see if my opponent has anything here. I mean, they could just... okay, Lava Goleming away my stuff. That is not funny. But, unfortunately, I do have Rescue. I will get back the Hydrant because that guy triggers my stuff more so than the other ones. So there you go. Rather, that supercharges a lot of my spells and traps more so than... okay, Lightning Storm. So this guy is hard on going second. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get Alert. There we go. That will add a creature from our graveyard or deck to hand. We're going to get the Fire Engine. Just in case we do manage to summon something, that will be at least something that we can do. We do have a Book of Moon that we can potentially do. Because I believe this guy, yeah, summons a machine, so we do still have access to our stuff. But my opponent did just give me fuel for my field spell here, so I mean, I don't mind taking like 1,000 damage. I have ways to get rid of that, good sir, unless of course you have more interaction in your hand in your go second deck. Which honestly is very likely, given how certain go second builds are going for these days. Like, yeah, Lava Golem is like a given because more often than not, like end boards of most of the meta decks, especially Snake Eyes in particular, They end with like two, maybe three monsters, help, maybe even four, depending on the build. But first, we're gonna get Rescue's HQ and see if we can bait any interaction out of our opponent here. I would actually be very surprised if they do so. So we will return the two that are in the banish pile. Actually, no, not the airlifter. That we can get that later. We'll actually return all four of the spells that Turbulence always gets out. So let's see if they react to that, which is honestly very likely if they have a DD Crow. But since I'm only getting the spells and traps, they cannot exactly use Call by the Grave, which I assume this is Call by the Grave. But I believe that will still allow, yeah, you can target 4. Oh no, it needs exactly 4. So if that number is reduced, I believe, I cannot do any, it won't resolve, but I may be wrong. I have never encountered that problem, unfortunately. But given the wording, I think you need exactly 4 targets in order for the HQ to do its thing. So, okay then. My opponent saw the writing on the wall, seeing that I can just wombo combo him with the fire department with my stuff. But, well, I'm performing surprisingly well this time. I have not faced a significant loss yet. Again, I was on a very big losing streak like recently, so I guess this is a breath of fresh air. But unfortunately, we're gonna keep this video like really short. For personal reasons, unfortunately, I do have to take care of a few things in real life. So we're gonna cut it here, and this is at least a very good note to leave Rescue Ace on. They can still fight somewhat in spite of, you know, nearly full power Kashtira. I mean, they have suffered a couple of hits over the past couple of months, especially like within 2023, 2024. But in spite of that, they're still fighting. They still have ways to make their busted ass Xyz monsters. And then, of course, Snake Eyes being Snake Eyes, they're being splashed like everywhere. The one deck, however, that I don't see often enough is Volcano. I wish we could get more Volcano, or rather Volcanics. I don't see them as often because they're treated more as a like an all-in combo deck that's paired with Snake Eyes as a supplementary engine. I don't see them as often, but thankfully I don't, because I don't want to have to sit through a 20-minute combo of Volcanic Snake Eyes. But yeah, we're gonna leave it here, and yeah, shorter than usual because I have real life stuff to attend to. So if you guys like what you saw, hit like, comment, subscribe, share this among your friends, and until next time, doodles.